Hello everyone, and welcome to another casual review. Today, I thought it would be fun to talk about The Simpsons Season 1. I thought maybe I should do my annual viewing of all the Simpsons episodes. Granted, it's not usually annually that I'd watch through these, but I have watched Simpsons a lot. Season 1 is probably one of my lesser viewed seasons, though. I didn't have the physical season until later in life. And now that it's on Disney Plus, I can just watch them all, and it's a lot easier to watch these episodes on the go, which I'm really grateful for. So, I don't know, I just kind of ran out of shows to watch on my own. I thought it'd be a good time to start watching them again. So, Season 1 is actually one of the shorter seasons. I believe it's only 13 episodes, and it's certainly rough around the edges. You can definitely tell the animation is very primitive. Granted, it's not as bad as like the Simpsons shorts before we had the official like full-length episodes, but there it just kind of looks weird. Sometimes the characters will like turn their heads, but their mouths will still stay in the same spot, and their mouths don't match their voices very often. But it's kind of weird because sometimes when they're moving and they're talking, it looks so fluid and alive, and it actually looks in some ways better than the current Simpson of animation movements would look. I can't really explain it that well, but it definitely adds a lot of liveliness to the appearance of the show. You can definitely tell that they haven't settled on a lot of things quite yet. Like in a couple episodes, Smithers is black, Chief Wiggum's hair is black, I believe Moe's hair is black. Barney's hair is the same color as his skin, lots of stuff like that, and they haven't quite settled on a lot of appearances, as well as personal personification, because when you think of a lot of Simpson characters, they all have their own niches. Let's see, you talk about Chief Wiggum, he's like this really bad police officer, right? Or you'll talk about Milhouse, and he's like this super nerd. And you don't typically get a lot of that. A lot of the characters are actually just normal humans, which kind of makes it more interesting. They're certainly a lot more relatable. Let's talk about Ned Flanders. Ned Flanders, he is this just really successful guy, but they don't really touch on his religious aspects at all. And especially in the later seasons, like the newer ones, that's his whole thing. Let's bring in Ned Flanders, we got to talk about religion somehow. But in the earlier seasons, especially in the first one, he's just like this really successful neighbor that we're supposed to be jealous of. And we can all relate to that, sometimes we can all feel like the Simpsons, that our neighbors are super successful with their nice lawns and everything. And I think that's one of the main appeals of the Simpsons, is the relatability we have with the Simpsons. We're all just working hard during the day. Well, we're all just working at the we're not working hard, but we're all just working just to finally get together as a family at the end of the day, sit down on the couch and watch some TV. The plot points certainly aren't that complicated, and I think there is a charm in its simplicity, but I'm not sure if a show like this would be very successful by today's standard, because we have such an inflation of adult animation. You kind of think of Fox Network. They basically bring in one or two new adult animated shows every year just to try it out, trying to find the next Family Guy or Bob's Burgers. And usually these shows only last one or two seasons before they're canceled. And I feel like if this season was to come out now, even if the animation was updated to today's standards, I don't think the plot of these episodes would carry the show very far. I don't think it would make it. Back in the day, it was so new and fresh having an adult animated show like this. I think that's what really propelled it forward. But if it was to come out today, I just think it's too simplistic and slow. There's not just jokes every single scene. It lets itself settle in the quiet, more realistic scenes, and there is a charm to that, but I just don't think it would make it in today's world. There's a lot of really iconic episodes now because of the Simpsons popularity. There's the episode where Bart steals Jebediah Springfield's statue's head, and that's in the intro of all the newer Simpsons seasons. There's the episode where Homer actually gets his safety inspector job. I actually forgot that there's an episode about that. I just thought he was always the safety inspector at the nuclear power plant, but this episode shows how he got fired and then he got rehired because Mr. Burns didn't like him protesting in front of the nuclear power plant, and that's how he got the safety inspector job at Sector 7G. One episode that I do watch every year that is pretty iconic to me is Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, and that is just kind of like, I just watch it every year during the holiday season. It really helps me get in the holiday spirit of it all. I love the whole story about how they get Santa's little helper. And fun fact about this episode, it was actually the first full-length Simpsons episode that was aired, but it was probably one of the later episodes actually written for the show. They just, the show came out around Christmas time, and that's why this was the first one aired. But I think for this viewing, my favorite episode of this season would probably be Moaning Lisa. And I feel like this is a really good episode to introduce Lisa's more complex thoughts and talents. It's a really good way to show what Lisa is all about because it's the first season. We don't know anything about her. She's a very complicated character, she certainly has a lot of deep philosophical thoughts and feelings, especially for an 8-year-old girl. And it just, I feel like it's really progressive for its time, even back in the early 90s, where the whole theme is Lisa, she's just feeling sad, and there's just so much turmoil in the world. And so how Marge's mother always approached this topic whenever Marge was feeling sad was just put on a smile and be happy, and everyone will like you because you're smiling and you're cooperative. And she is passing the same message down to Lisa, but then she sees Lisa just faking it but suffering inside, and she just snatches Lisa up and says, you know what? If you're feeling sad, feel sad. We'll be with you. And then when you get over this, when you're happy again, we'll be with you then too. We're just here to help you get through all these sad moments in life. It's a good message that you don't always have to be happy. It's okay to feel sad. And I really like the whole introduction to Bleeding Gums Murphy as well. You know, there are good things in life. There's jazz, there's family, there's good things in life, along with the sad things in life, and that's just what being a human is all about. And I just love the complexity that it fleshes out, especially with such a primitive episode of The Simpsons. It's hard giving this show a score just because of how iconic The Simpsons are and how fun it is to see The Simpsons in its earliest stage, aside from the small little shorts. I just don't think that it is that great of a season if we're taking away the iconicness of The Simpsons. And I like I said, I get the main joy. The main joy is just seeing what the Simpsons were like at the very beginning. But I think I will give this a score of 2 out of 5. I think it's just an okay season. It definitely picks up a lot more in the later seasons, as we'll come to find out. Well, I guess that's all I really wanted to say about Simpsons Season 1. I will continue on to Simpsons Season 2. This is definitely one of my more watched seasons. The first episode is Bart Gets an F, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I really like that episode. I like a lot of Simpsons Season 2. Let's see, Lisa's Substitute. There's a lot of good ones. So I will get back to you guys when I finish that one, but I appreciate you guys watching. What are your thoughts and opinions about the Simpsons Season 1 or The Simpsons in general? I'd love to hear from you guys. That should be it for me, though. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!